Hello, welcome to the channel. I am in a new location today, or at least one I haven't been in for quite some time. I'm in the Black Hills in South Dakota, and today's video is simply going to be an adventure. I'm going to see what kind of cool stuff I come across while I'm out here this morning and probably early this afternoon. And I'm going to bring y'all along for the ride and show you what cool stuff there is to see out here. So stick around, it's going to be a good time. Look at that little fella eating right there. You see that? That's just adorable. There he is. There's so much quartz out here in the Black Hills. It's incredible. Really nice stuff too. This looks just like ice. And I have walked over so much of this morning. Probably because there is, of course, gold here in the Black Hills. But super nice. And check that out right there. Really nice. There's another interesting one here. This is mica. There's a little sheet of it right there. You can see plumb through that. Super thin. And very shiny. Where's the sun? There we go. There's a bit of reflection. Cool stuff. So I just climbed to the top of a ridge here. And the altitude difference between here in the Black Hills and back home in East Tennessee, at least where I live in East Tennessee, is quite significant. I'm a little out of breath. I just checked, and according to my technological device, I am well over 5,000 feet here. Back home in Tennessee, I'm usually no higher than 3,000 feet when I'm wandering around in the woods. So that extra couple thousand feet makes a difference. And also, I've been in the car for a lot of hours getting here, so that makes you a little stiff too. This is just an absolutely incredible landscape. I used to live out here years back, but I always forget how pretty it is until I come back and look at that. Incredible. And there you see lots and lots of quartz, big pieces too. Just step over here. Look how big that quartz is. And that is all one piece, buried way down in the ground. Awesome. Fascinating rock formations out here. Look at that split right down the middle. You can look right through there. Cool stuff. So I felt like this was probably a pretty good time of day to see some big game critters out here. And I just jumped a little whitetail spike ways off. Back over this way, but it's too far away to get on camera, but maybe I'll see some more stuff. I've still got my eye open, got it peeled, and I'm looking. So I'm walking along here and I'm headed up there. Get around this way. I think Yeah, up there at the top on that peak, I'm walking along and I found a road. So I'm taking the road because it's going the direction that I want to go. There's nothing wrong with taking the easy route as long as it goes where you're headed. So road it is for a while. Nice leisurely stroll, taking in the sights, looking for critters. It's a nice morning. So I've been walking along this road here, and I'm headed up on top of that. But I'm thinking I don't really want to go through all those down trees and everything. I was looking over there, and right there's a little saddle. So I'm going to see what that looks like from down below once I get up here just a little bit. As I'm out here wandering around, I'm realizing there are a few species of trees and shrubs and bushes that I'm not familiar with. So I'm going to have to go look through my book and see what's out here. I know there's a whole bunch of pine trees, of course, and these are primarily ponderosa pine. Those I am familiar with, but some of the hardwood species out here, not so much. I'm stopped here. If you're unfamiliar with the term saddle, that is a saddle right there. You can see there's a high point, low point, high point. So that's a saddle. That's what I was looking at from down below that I showed a minute ago. And if you look over this way, there's a high point up in these trees, which you can't really see very well. And of course a high point here. And this is low right in here. So this is a kind of a double saddle, I suppose. But just in case you're unfamiliar with the term, that is a saddle right there. I made it up to the ridge that I had pointed out previously, and it definitely does not disappoint. It's worth the climb to get up here. And I've been up here for a little while, so now I'm going to move on. There's a highway. Now I'm going to move on. I'm going to head back down there. And right about, let's see if I can, right about there, more or less, is the road that I was walking on. It's more like a trail. I'm going to head back down there, because kind of over that direction, which you can't see, there was a little group of hardwood trees. I think they were aspens that I'm going to go check out. So that's where I'm headed now. I've seen a few white-tailed deer this morning. Looks like that might be a leftover from one that got eaten by something that was hungry. Looks like a shoulder blade. Interesting. Could be useful if you were out here living off the land or were in some sort of extended emergency. Bone is a very, very useful material. Do all kinds of things with it. But I'm going to leave it there because I don't really need it. Just pollinators doing their thing. Little old bee getting after that flower. Walking around out here is bringing up a thought in my head about navigation. Making sure you always know where you are and where you came from so that you can get back there. So when I left the campground this morning to come out here into these woods, I was going more or less in a southern direction. And given that, I know that my campground is more or less directly behind the camera, because that is more or less north. And I know that because the sun is over here, which makes that direction more or less east because it is still morning. So, I know my campground is that way. Alright. It's pretty open around here, so when I get to an open area, I'll be able to see the campground because it is lower in elevation than I am. So I'll be able to look down and see campers and things like that. But let's say that I wouldn't be able to see that from anywhere up here. Aside from knowing my campground is more or less north, I also know that there's a highway north of me that runs pretty much east-west. So I could walk to that highway and then head to the road that leads to my campground from there. But how do I know which way to turn once I hit the highway? If I were to go a little bit west of north, so let's say north's directly behind the camera, I'm going to go that way. I'll hit the highway over there. Once I hit the highway, 99% certain that I would turn right to get back to the road that leads to my campground. If I were to head east of north, so that way, hit the highway over there, I would need to turn left to get back to the road that leads to my campground. So, backup plan. I know the general direction, right? And I also know a major boundary line, and that being the highway. And I can use that more or less as a handrail to get back home, or to the camper, which for the time being is home. So, having a backup plan for navigation in the back of your head is always a good idea. You should, of course, carry a map. That's a good thing to do as well. But also look at a map before you leave. Get a vague idea. It doesn't need to be a perfect idea, but at least a vague idea on where the major boundaries or major landmarks are in your area that you can use to navigate back to where you started. Because generally, that's where you want to wind up, is where you started. So, good things to keep in the back of your head. So I made it over here in the little hardwood area. Take a look at this. I'm going to spin the camera around. Look at all those white trunks. That's awesome. Birch and aspen. Fun stuff. I like it. There's some birch remnants laying here. Look at that. Wood completely rotted out of the inside, and that bark is still good to go. That's not even weak. Birch is fascinating. So here's a cool find here. This ponderosa pine has been injured, and it's got sap leaking out there. See, nice and squishy, sticky stuff. But excellent resource. Is good for starting fires. Is good for sealing holes. It's good for waterproofing things. Is even medicinal. So, lots of things you can do with pine sap. So I have now made it into a savanna / woodland area. Primarily savanna, but there's a few places. If I turn right here, see right here behind me, this little area kind of goes this way. Would probably classify that as a woodland. Most of this area I'm in here, though, is a really nice savanna, primarily pine savanna. And savannas and woodlands are awesome because they will support a surprisingly high amount of biodiversity, from herbaceous plants and insects to small mammals, birds, songbirds and birds of prey, raptors, all the way up to, in this region, elk and bison, bighorn sheep. All kinds of things would be very well supported in this area I'm in right here. So this is a really, really nice spot. I'm enjoying this immensely. And there we go. Started out over there, went up and around, straight over the top of that right there, and all the way up to the top of the ridge back there. Came back all through that savanna there, the woodland area with the birch and aspens, straight back through in there. Savannah and Woodland area. Crested this little hill right here. Turn back this way. And right there is the rock where I did the intro to this video. I love it when a plan comes together. And with that, I think I'm going to call this video done. And I'm going to head back down to the campground and find something to eat. I did bring food with me. Decided not to eat it though, because it is coming on to eating time and I'm almost to the campground. It's just right there. So I'm just going to go down there and eat. And I'm going to cut this video off here. Hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this adventure today in the Black Hills. This was a really fun walk for me. I had a good time with that. Saw lots of fun stuff. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy it, I would also appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. Share the video with your friends. Comment down below. Let me know if you enjoy this type of content, because I could certainly do more of it. And also, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet a subscriber. That would be cool. I would appreciate that. Until next time, go forth, enjoy yourself, and always come home safe.